I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. We are the Carters and we are here with another real estate topic. So today we're going to discuss
how to protect your rental properties from liability. Basically, we're going to tell you how to safeguard yourself legally.
right, and some of the topics we're going to talk about are homeowners insurance, the purpose of an umbrella policy, and different stuff like your lead inspections, property inspections, and your rental inspection checklist. So some of the things we're going to cover today, just to give you a idea of how to keep yourself out of trouble, I guess you could say. As a landlord, how to protect yourself, keep yourself out of trouble. I guess we can start with the homeowners insurance. You want to start with that?
Okay, so I'll start with the homeowner insurance. So you should have homeowner insurance on all of your rental properties. The homeowner insurance is to cover you from being sued, or maybe the house might catch fire. The roof may get damages from it may be too windy outside one day. So
speaking of a fire, let's talk about that real quick. So, and this is important why you have to stay up on your business. So one of our properties, which is completely paid off, so we don't have a mortgage on the property. Normally, your insurance is kind of tied up in your mortgage. So one of the properties we do not have a mortgage on, a house caught on fire a few doors down from our house. And we get a phone call, house caught on fire, tenant call. So we had like smoke damage and stuff inside the house. So first thing we do, call the insurance company. Insurance company tell us, oh, that house, y'all ain't paid insurance on that house in months. But all our properties are under one insurance company. So we just send in one bill, not even like noticing that this one particular house wasn't covered. And it went on for like months. We had no idea because we just sent one lump payment. We did learn a lesson from that though. We did like start breaking the payments down individually. So we make sure every month that every property is like actually like covered. And we got super lucky because it could have been our actual house that caught on fire. And it could have been a tragic event for the tenant, but you know, for us financially, we had zero coverage. We had no idea. So having that homeowners insurance is extremely important. Yes. And stand up on your policy. Know how much you paying for your policy, how much the policy actually covers in some type of damage or something like that. So I'm sorry for cutting you off. Hope you didn't lose track of where you was at.
I did.
You did? I'm sorry. So it's extremely important. Also, turn it back on for me real quick. Also, one thing we didn't mention about the homeowners insurance is rental insurance. You want to make sure your tenants have their own rental insurance policy. So it also protects them if anything happens, fire, flooding, or anything like that. It helps the tenant have all their items and stuff covered, because our insurance, landlord insurance, typically doesn't cover like if they have any damage to their personal property. So it's good for them. We always require our tenants to get property insurance, rental insurance. Also, if they do any damage to the house, we can file a claim. So we had a tenant window bust. Something fell, her dresser fell or something, and it broke the window. So we called the rental insurance policy. We had to fix it. You still gotta go in, fix it, get your maintenance person to fix it. And when you just get a receipt from your maintenance person or maintenance company, whoever goes out. So we was able to get reimbursement for the glass replacement and the cost of the maintenance man to come in and do the work. So the tenant damaged the house, bust the doors, put a hole in the door, rip something down. It's best, to go in, do your inspections, and see the damage. If the tenant don't tell you about the damage, then you file a claim against the insurance policy. So it's definitely good to have the homeowners insurance and the rental insurance for the property.
Yeah, going back to what you said about the fire, also the tenant, if they had their own rental insurance, their insurance will, put them in a hotel,
Right.
give them somewhere to stay until the house is back up and running for them. And you won't have the expense of putting your tenant in a hotel, paying for it nightly until the house is back up and running. So definitely make sure you have homeowner insurance and that your tenant has insurance as well. And the way to make sure your tenant has insurance is to make sure they make you an additional interest party
Additional.
on their insurance.
Insurer,
Yeah,
right.
because if the policy gets canceled, terminated, or whatever, you'll be notified, so you'll know
Right.
that your tenant no longer has insurance. So that is definitely applies.
Right, because we always make sure that when the tenant signs the lease, it's like a part of the lease you have to have rental insurance. So as soon as the tenant get in, we get them to set that up like right away. Sometimes we get it before they even get the key. We get them to set it up. So once they set up, like my wife was saying that we are like riders on the insurance, additional insurers. So when the policy is like, we have one tenant that like, I don't know how it works, but like something with the renewal is like every 30 days almost. And we get a notification like every 30 days that the policy is about to expire. But typically the policy is like a 12-month policy.
It's typically 12 months
Right.
yearly, but the tenant, I guess, decides to pay it monthly.
Oh, right.
So since
Right.
she's paying it monthly, if she doesn't pay her bill, every month we get a letter saying,
Right.
hey, this policy is gonna be canceled on such and such date. And then we reach out to the tenant like, hey, your insurance is about to be canceled on such
Right.
and such date.
Right.
And then when they pay the insurance, you'll get a reinstatement letter saying that the insurance policy is reinstated.
Right, right. And I can't remember the cost. You probably should have looked the cost up.
It's
But
not
it's
that
not
expensive.
Most tenants is paid for the whole
It's
12
about
months. 'Cause it's really,
$25 a month,
right.
maybe if
That, it might not even.
Rental
Yeah.
insurance isn't. I don't want to say it's cheap because I can't be in everybody's pocket,
Right.
but it's not a crazy expensive price. You think you're
Right.
paying hundreds of dollars a month? Not at all.
No, not at all. Not at
It's
all.
a pizza, a box of pizza.
Maybe, I
But a
think.
dinner for the night, yeah.
But it's required, and we suggest that you, to protect yourself and the tenant, make sure that you get homeowners insurance and rental insurance. And depending on what area you in, certain parts of like, at least like in Baltimore, depending on where you at around the country, you may need flood insurance as well. Flood insurance can be extremely expensive, like extremely. So definitely shop around if you're forced to get flood insurance. Like if you have a mortgage, some mortgages will force you to get flood insurance if you're in a flood zone. And I think it's since like Katrina happened, flood insurance went like through the roof. So try to stay out of flood zones because you don't want to have to get flood insurance. It's extremely expensive. So those are some of the main homeowners insurance you want to get to protect the house, and stuff like that. So next on the list we have umbrella insurance. So if you aren't familiar with umbrella insurance, it's exactly how it sounds.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's an umbrella. It covers everything about you, right? So it covers you even if you're in a car accident and your car insurance cuts off at a certain limit. Like most of us have like $100,000, maybe $200,000 worth of liability coverage. If it goes past that, your umbrella insurance will take over from that point.
Yeah, so yes, the umbrella, like you said, is basically what it sounds like. So if your insurance policy is at its limit, your umbrella insurance will take over and kick in for you to cover the fees. And it's for accidents, a tenant that may be suing you. It's insurance for anything that may go outside of your regular insurance. It's really a good additional insurance to have.
Right. So with the umbrella policy, you can kind of choose how much you kind of want. But a lot of times if you're setting up an umbrella policy, they'll kind of look at all your assets, right? And then they'll kind of help you come up with a number to help protect you, right? You could get a couple million, I think ours is up there. And it's a monthly expense, it's a part of the business, right? But it definitely covers you because, if a tenant sues you for something or, so many things, you're at so much risk in this business. So you want to protect yourself and all your personal assets from somebody coming after your personal assets, right? So it's just a huge way to protect yourself that I would definitely suggest looking into. If you can put it in your budget, you should put it in your budget. Not if you can, you definitely should put it in your budget to protect yourself. So you're any type of business person or you have a lot of assets that somebody can get access to from suing you, you should definitely have an umbrella policy. So that's my suggestion on that. You go to the next one.
So I'm going to talk about property registrations. Let's do that one. Property registrations. So every year you have to pay property registration for your properties. And what happens is, let's just say you have a tenant that you have to take to rent court. If your property isn't registered, you cannot collect rent.
Correct.
I don't care how long they lived in your house, you will not collect 1 penny. And also,
meaning if they stop paying rent, you try to go to rent court and try to collect your money. Meaning that's what that means.
Collect
right?
anything.
Right.
And also, you have to have, along with the property registration, it kind of goes hand in hand. You have to have a rental inspection done.
Mm-hmm.
So
how often is the rental?
The rental inspection. So they start out with 2 years.
Right.
If your property doesn't get to if you don't have a tenant who complains about you not upkeeping their property, you don't have a lot of citations on your properties, then they extend you to 3 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we started out with when Baltimore City first started doing the rental property inspections. We started with 2 years, and then every year after that, they've been giving us 3 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So I suggest this video good for both of them. I ain't know.
Before your rental registration expires, get it done way in advance.
Okay.
Because one, you have to make sure the inspector is on the list of inspectors that's approved by Baltimore City.
Right.
If they're not, then they have to call, get on the list, and it just drags out. And you'll be waiting for your paperwork. And you don't want to be getting close to the date to your property registration to be expiring.
Right.
So I would say get it done at least 6 months in advance. Make sure the inspector is on Baltimore City's home inspector list. And you can get the list off of Baltimore City's website. It will show you the list of items that they're going to be looking at.
Right.
So maybe you could go out and do a pre-check.
Right. We suggest on the pre-check because a lot of people avoid the whole registration process. Just like, oh, it's too much to go through, blah, blah, blah. But it's actually really not, right? For what, how much protection you get, like how much liability you prevent, you get away from. It's really not really a lot to it. They just it's honestly, I feel like it's the things you should be doing as a landlord anyway, right? You should be having working smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. They want to make sure the water is running hot. They want to make sure the doors locked, like the bedroom doors, the windows locked properly. It's simple stuff like that, right? I don't think it's nothing on there that's just
it's things that should be done and happen and working properly at the house.
Right.
So it's nothing out of the ordinary that you wouldn't stay on the list.
Right.
So it's simple. It's to protect your tenant. Of course, you want your tenant to live in a safe environment. So I would say do a pre-check to go over the things, and maybe there are some things your tenant didn't tell you about. Maybe it's a leak that's happening that your tenant didn't tell you about, and you find it before you have to get your inspection, so you can get that fixed before it's time for the inspector to come out. And then that's
Right.
one less thing you have to wait to get fixed, and then have them come back out and re-inspect your property again.
Yeah, and again, it's an inexpensive fee. Every inspector kind of charge a different amount, but it ranges maybe 150 to 200, 225 or something like that. And you're doing it, I thought it was every 2 years, but it's every 3 years. So, I mean, it's kind of like a no-brainer. You definitely should be doing it because you get to protect yourself. So, it's definitely a huge way to stay safe from liability. So I definitely would also suggest that, right? Also, you want to get your lead inspections. Lead inspections are important as well. Definitely in Baltimore City, you don't want to get sued for somebody having high lead levels. So before you even put a tenant in there, we suggest you, not suggest, you is really use the law, really. You have to send a lead inspector in there, let him do his analysis and everything like that. He's gonna clear the house if it's good, free of lead or very low amounts of lead. Some houses still have lead, but they so low that it's still safe, right? So you wanna do that before every tenant move in. Like the law basically says, like if you have a house, you rent it out, it should have a lead inspection. I don't care if the tenant stay for 30 days and they move out, you gotta get another lead inspection, right? And at first I didn't understand that. I was like, it didn't make sense. They wasn't in there long. But the thing about it is if they chip a door frame or a window frame or something, it could be exposed to a new layer of lead. So you have to send a lead inspector back in there just to make sure they didn't do any chip paint or anything like that. So just to be on the safe side, get the lead inspection done so it protects you from liability because you're like, hey, I got the lead inspection done. I thought I was safe, right? So it's just another layer of protection, right? On top of all the other things that we talked about. So you want to be like layered as thick as possible. So you like super protected. And,
Absolutely, because those tenants gonna try you.
yeah, some tenants definitely will try you, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. That's what I would suggest. We would suggest to get the lead inspection along with the property registration inspection. The rental checklist, we already talked about that. That's like the basic stuff with the smokes, the carvings, the windows, hot water working properly, stuff like that. And I'll try to get the link for BaltimoreCity.gov, it might be. I can't remember what it is. But whatever the link to the rental inspection checklist, I'll link it in this video. And you can just go to it and see it. Give it to your maintenance man and walk through the house and check it out. Or you can do it yourself as a landlord. If you're a hands-on landlord, you can walk through yourself, check everything out. Everything look good, then you set the inspection up with the rental inspection.
I never made it, but I know I